Okay, so it's like if we finish the first this series of exercise, I don't see things that we didn't cover. So I propose to move to the next section, which is how to use Amarinko template. So first, so we will discuss what is a template, why we need a template, on your opinion. So for that, I don't really have a training support. We will have more things like to collect, in fact, your opinion on that. We will analyze the current templates that exist currently and see how you should adjust the planning created based on this template to your own project and see what kind of operation you should do on that. So first, a template. So why, in your opinion, do we need a template to manage projects? Because why not creating simply each time a new project? And what I propose, maybe if you could give us your opinion on that through the Teams conversation, or maybe you can speak. It's also possible. To see if you see why we should use this kind of technique, a template technique to manage our initial project. Any idea? So if I was not clear, I expect that you propose to us a reason why we should use a template. It means so a template. You create a project. You can create a project from blank, or you can create a project from an existing list of tasks that is a start point of all of your projects. And so why we should use this, in fact?
Because it's faster. First, it's faster to create the schedule, and second, for reporting, at least there is a defined structure, so your reporting is more straightforward when you have to extract data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some other ideas? So comparison purposes between projects, of course. Some other ideas. I think we have a good point to start, but I think a lot of ideas has not been pushed from now. Nothing? So maybe I will give some answer, but I think that you have certainly some other ideas on this on this question. So really, don't let me alone to speak. Wait 1 minute. make easier for a new user to enter the data. Yes, absolutely. So what is interesting in this idea, so first, new user, because of course, when you are new in the company, you don't know everything about the process, the development process, the different tasks that you have to do to manage a project. So it's good to have a kind of guideline, and here it's the idea of guideline, which sounds through this idea. Data per policy and structure, and it's the second point which is interesting here, is that we can define as many templates as we want because the rules, the laws are different from one country to the other one. We don't need exactly the same permits and etc. So if it's necessary to create different type of planning, so and you have this possibility in MS Project to create, and already we have in the production several templates. We have different Egyptian template depending on the capacity. We have for Oman, Austria, Spanish project. Don't remember if I forget something, but okay, it's possible to create many type of project. And of course, yes, integration with a PPM tool. So that's interesting. It's more technical, I would say, but it's really interesting because in the PPM tool, we need to synchronize some task. You know, when we start to create a new project in the PPM tool, we define more or less globally the expected date for RTB, for tariff, option, clause, etc. When we are in MS Project, things are more, we have a better accuracy, we know about the dependency, etc. But it's interesting that we can show these dates calculated by project to the PPM tool through the reporting, through the user form that we have in the PPM tool. And thanks to the template, we can put some kind of task marker on some task to say, okay, your date, your milestone, you are the RTB date. And we use this information to synchronize with the PPM tool. And that's an interesting thing. Okay, so thank you for your different ideas. I will show you what I already identified in the presentation. So one, okay, don't start with a blank page. So if each time we have to start a project from blank, maybe we will lose a lot of time for that, and it's really a waste of time. So it's better to start with some existing things, so we save time, as you have said. One of the best thing, I think, my point of view, it's a capitalization of previous project, because you build project now for years now, and you will continue to do, and all project brings is knowledge about projects, about duration, about points that you have to take care, and some critical things, etc. All these things can be integrated in the template. And if you have some lesson learned from previous project, and you want to put into to deploy, in fact, these new rules, these new practice in all the projects, you can put it into the planning template, and you know that all your colleagues will take some benefits of it and take in account the lesson learned from the previous project. And in terms of continuous improvement, in terms of quality improvement on your project, in kind of productivity, etc., risk management, etc., really you have in a very really a safe way to manage it. It's really interesting for that. After we have things about standardization and reporting, which is easier, which has already been mentioned. Multiple templates, of course. I think that's also for new user. It's one of the idea. I think if we start with something existing, it's more easy to manage MS projects because you don't have to create everything from scratch each time. So it's more or less the same as this, but more in terms of learning curve about MS Project, because MS Project has a lot of good benefits and advantages, etc. But it's not really completely easy to start with MS Project. So if we have something that can help us, like MS Project template, it's good to have. And another one is the template should include some business rules. For example, for cash management, and that's why you have to communicate to your controlling a lot of information about the project, what is the forecast, what was the actual, and in the template you can include this cost structure, and it helps really the project management to communicate this information to the controlling in terms of enterprise management of the cash flow of the company. And in fact, the template can facilitate, in fact, this management. So the list is not. We can maybe add a lot of things about that, but I think it's really the main points. Maybe some comments about that, or we continue. Okay, so let's continue. So the different parts of a template. So we will base our training on one representative template available in the test environment, which is Egypt above 500 kilowatt parks, if I remember, to analyze a little bit how it looks like. So in a planning, we have several parts. So when we create a new project, we have to click here on the new project based on template, as I showed just before. It will create a planning like this based on this template. Okay, and if we analyze the different parts here, we see that we have several things. Maybe the font is a little bit too small. So a first part. Maybe Samantha, maybe do you want to comment, in fact, the template, or can I make some general presentation as you want?
No, make your general. If there's anything I want to add, I'll jump in.
Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. So we use in fact the best practices in the definition of the template because we have a planning in different parts, with some milestones which are here, with some task grouping here, so and with different links between the both sides. After, the planning is divided into different parts. So one is the first initial phase of a project, which is the financial close. So we have a list of tasks. If I develop here, I have a list of tasks. We don't go into details. It's not. The purpose here is not to analyze the content, the detailed content of the template, because it's your business. I think the different tasks, maybe they will talk to you better than to me, just to understand the structure. After, we have a list of KPIs. So the different main milestones which are really important in your project. So the details are important too, and the evaluation in the details, as we always say. But we have the main milestone which must be managed are here, so RTB and TP and different parts. So they are in the KPIs area and in the development pillars area. So everything here, it's there are milestones. After we have a budget area where you have the budget, the cost structure which is defined. The DevEx, the CapEx, and the OpEx, we have different tasks below, where the different things, the different costs must be forecasted and declared in terms of achievement. So this part will be more discussed at the end of the training today to see how to manage this. So we will not go into details here, but it's to understand that we have a specific structure here for that. And after we have the project activities, so the list of tasks related to the project with the different areas. So here you find the details that will drive, in fact, the different pillars. Okay, so here you have the result, and here we have the details. So how to have the land lease, etc., etc. Okay, so it's really a hierarchical view of a planning, a different area with links that will synchronize everything together to have a global planning. So when you create a new project, so you will have this list of tasks as defined here, and after you have to adapt, to adjust this to your project. By using,
yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
Did I jump in there? Just if you could go back. Just one addition or emphasis is under the milestone section. Those have been predefined as per our business practice, as you can see. Those are fixed. Those milestones we cannot change, rename, reorder, anything like that. That is completely fixed. The rest of the schedule is absolutely flexible, but that first part milestones we don't touch. All we do is we manage the links into those particular milestones. Just a point.
Yeah, exactly. So we tell about a little bit about this. It completes, in fact, what must be said about adjustment. It's true that when you start a new project based on the template, so it's not out of the box, completely ready project and adapted to your need. Of course, you have to adjust things. You have to set up the different dates according to what was defined in the PPM application. So you put some dates, etc. So you have to adjust your planning according to what was defined. You have to define duration of all of the tasks. You can add some tasks, you can remove some tasks, but as someone said, some tasks are really must be present in the project. Otherwise, we will have some alerts in terms of reporting generation, because really these tasks are absolutely mandatory, and you cannot make the portfolio management if you don't have these specific tasks in your project. So really this part must not be changed. So you can add things, but not remove things from this area. So you can add some tasks, but careful, don't add some micro tasks, because planning is not an agenda. So I already talked about this. I will not communicate a limit duration of task, but 2 days, maybe a task of 2 days. Does it has really a sense in a project? I'm not sure. After, so more technical about MS project, don't define the dates directly in your planning. It's something really easy to do with MS project. You see the planning, you have some dates, and okay, no, it's not the 3rd of March, but maybe 15 days later. So you will put directly in the start cell in the planning, you will change the date. Now, you don't have to do this, because if you do, you will put some constraint in your planning without having conscience of that. If you do it, you say to project, okay, you should never plan this task before this date. Even if maybe some previous task took less time than expected, if you define the date at a certain moment to a specific value, it will never change. So it's not what you want. On some tasks, you want to have some constraint, as we showed on some milestones, etc. So it's important to have, and it's what's explained here. So don't define directly on all the tasks, but on specific tasks, you should make this kind of constraint. And it's a good practice to use constraint, because it's functionality of project. So we have to work with this. So it's more or less what we can do about the rules. So in details, how can we change things? So you have to put duration. So duration is really basic to define. You double click or you click on information. Sometimes some tasks are displayed with a question mark beside, because they are defined as estimated. Not remember in the template, I don't think it's defined in estimated, but okay, if you change the duration of task, the task will not be in estimated, so you know that, okay, so you change it, and it's an actual, really a real date. Okay, so for the dates after, okay, so it's better to practice than to explain. About the break, lunch break. Do you want to make it now? I don't know where we are in the schedule, Samantha. Do we have time to make it?
I think let's probably take a bit of a break now, about an hour or so. Just let everybody refresh before we start the exercise. Is everybody happy with that? 45 minutes, an hour, just take a break, lunch, brunch, afternoon, dinner, whatever. So can we say quarter past the next hour that we back on the computer?
So 1 hour break.
1 hour break. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with that. We had a long phase there, so
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
For me too.
No, true story. All right, everyone. We'll see you back in the hour.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
See you all.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
So we saw how to what can we wait from a template in MS Project in terms of capitalization and help for a new user to be ready to use in fact the MS Project solution based on the planning template, which takes in account all the constraints for the different constraints that we have in different countries, the different laws, rules, and regulation that we can find. So according to that, we have different templates with a structure, with a list of tasks, list of milestones. Then we have to complete the list of tasks maybe remove some, maybe add some of them, but with to be aware that we cannot remove the milestones that are in the header of the planning, because we will have some reporting problem, and it will be a very big issue if some dates does not comes out from your project. We will have some alerts, and it will not be a good situation. After, so we will complete the planning. We're expecting some rules how to use MS Project. So not defining some start and finish date directly, but using some constraint on some specific task to have planning which is still flexible and maintainable. And after, so yes, that's fine. So we will continue with the exercise to put all these knowledges in situation by creating a new project based on the template which is in place in the test environment. So in the production, we will have more templates, more maybe close to your processes, so your development processes. You will create this template, adapt the durations. We will put some constraints, set the baseline, and display display in fact the baseline. Before that, I will just maybe make a focus in terms of demonstration of things related to that point. I think it's important to have this in mind with a very simplified planning before starting with a template which is there. It will be easier to understand. So I will start with a quick demo for that. Okay, so I will create a new one to be sure that we have nothing T1, T2 task with take. Okay. So imagine that we have a planning phase or a list of tasks with this kind of configuration. So project wants us to plan our task T2 on the 28th of December. I don't really want that the project starts at this date because yes, I prefer starting some things on Mondays or things like that. So I prefer say, okay, I will start the task at this date. Okay. So nice. Why not? It's so easy to modify date from there. But I say that really it's not a good thing to do that, because if you do that, you can see that we have here a kind of icon saying to us that we set a constraint to the task and ask project that he must not start this task earlier than the 2nd of January. For our purpose here, it's okay, why not? But imagine that maybe we have a long series of tasks here. We have a task which normally should take 10 days, but because we are very lucky or we have a very good performance, the task will take maybe 2 days instead. If it takes 2 days, maybe would we prefer to start the task 2 maybe at the 17th or the 19th of December? But here, because we defined manually the task at this date, project does not move this task, and we don't use the benefit and the margin, the additional margin that we had to maybe, okay, well, so we can start this task earlier, it's good, so we have a better buffer for the rest of the project. Because we put a constraint here, without having conscience of that, it's not what we wanted to do. We want just help a little bit project, say, no, here, no, not on Wednesday, it's better on Monday. But by doing this, and imagine that you do this with a long list of tasks, your planning will be completely frozen, and you will manage all the dates manually from the beginning to the end. Instead of using MS Project as a planning tool, it means a tool which will calculate the best planning for you according to the different constraints that you set on your planning, on your tasks. If you define directly some dates in your planning, you use Project as an Excel file, and you lose completely the power of MS Project because of this bad practice that you should use. And if you have to remember one thing in all this training, maybe two things, is that please don't define yourself the dates here, because you will generate some a frozen planning, and you will generate a lot of maintenance work after, because after each duration changes in the next tasks, you will have to manage the impact of the change on each individual task, and it will be a nightmare. And you would say, but why does project do like this? What for a stupid software? But no, it's not a stupid software. We have to use project for what is designed for, if I can say. Okay, so let's delegate the calculation of our planning to project. I think it's better than us to make it, because it can know about all the constraints, and our task is just to put the constraints that we know about the project, constraints on some milestones, of some maybe task duration, dependency, etc., etc. So tell to project everything what is specific to our project and things that it cannot guess. We have to put this information in the planning. And with this information that we tell to project, he will generate the best planning. And if the planning does not suit what you expect, it's maybe because you forget to define some constraint. So it's really important that to understand, and if you want really to extract the best value of this software, PPM software, really take care about this, because it's so easy to modify directly these dates. These dates here should be defined as a read-only field. If I were the Microsoft Project Designer, these fields here, I would switch them to read-only to force people to not to avoid some modification of the dates directly on the cells. Okay, I'm not sure if you were aware about this practice on project, but and if you have some comments on it.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so that might be a serious consideration for us.
Okay, so now we should start with our exercise. So I will close this, and maybe I can close this one as well by checking. Okay, so now you can start things exactly like me. So I'm connected to our test environment. No project is on the edition, and I can go to File, New. So before we created a project from a blank project, so no template were used. But now we will use our enterprise template. So different templates are in place in a test. In a production, we will have all the templates, but I didn't copy everything from test to there because it's a big work to do. I just copied the last version of the template for Egypt project because a lot of good practices are inside. Okay, so you can create a project from this. Okay. So again, if some of you cannot follow, etc., don't hesitate to call for help. No problem. It's something very important to discuss here. I see that in this environment and in this template, the screen is split in two parts. One is the general Gantt chart that we have, so everything inside, and the second part is a detailed form, which can be very convenient to use in some case, but you're not obliged to use. I like this, but sometimes people are not very happy with that. What is the advantage of this? It's easy to put, for example, some constraint like this. You see, you have the constraint part which is defined here. You can put the duration, so you have a lot of things like a predecessor, maybe resources, etc., available directly from this screen. So if you like it, you can keep it as is. If you dislike it, you can uncheck in the ribbon the details checkbox, and you will return to the standard view where all the tasks are displayed. So it's really up to you what you want. It's really possible to do both. Okay, so in our case, I will remove because maybe it's what we started to do. Okay, so we have our planning here with a financial project itself with the different KPIs defined. The budget area and the project activities area defined here. So what we can do, maybe, I'm not sure it's something interesting to create new tasks. So yes, we will create maybe, I think maybe it could be difficult to create some new task for there. I would prefer maybe to concentrate on the to adapt, in fact, the duration of some tasks. So imagine that we have maybe to initialize a new planning. So the first thing to do when we want to initialize a planning is to define the start date of the planning. So we have to move, in fact, the planning, because now it starts in June 2002. In our case, maybe it's not the correct date, so we have to go to project information and change the start date of the project. So I will not put today because it's good to have some task in the past for the rest of the exercise. So we can make like this. Okay, and here you see that all the tasks. The earliest task starts at this date here. Okay. And you can see this on the highest level here that we started at this date. After we have to change maybe to define maybe the duration of some tasks, because it's a very important thing to define. So what is the duration of the lease agreement? So it's not 50, maybe it would be 60, I don't know. You can change what you want. Maybe here it will take 10, etc. So you can do this for all the tasks to adapt really the duration of the task to your actual duration. So we will not change a lot of things. So you see that in the template there are still a lot of dependency defined. Okay. So when we talk about a lot of knowledge is integrated in the template. Typically, it's exactly things like this. So it's here. It's not predecessor. It's a successor. So I will remove. But you see that here we know what we need to get to be able to start this RFP submission and review. We have to wait for this task, and often the 5 tasks are predecessor. So if each time that you create a new project, you have to define this kind of thing, it will take a lot of time. So everything is integrated there, and so it's a very good start point for the project. Okay, so the list of tasks are defined. So maybe can we also put some constraints? Just remove that. It will come later. On some task here and say that maybe these tasks have some constraint, land option. We can say that, okay, it's must finish on, because it was committed and it was what we sold to people, that we will finish this step at this moment here. So nothing changed. And we will test this and see, for example, I just have to check if I took the correct constraint. 68. What if I change something here? Okay, you see that because of the dependency, which is a finish to finish dependency, the lease agreement takes more time. It will generate an alert like this. Okay, so this is an advantage to put some kind of constraint like this. To have some points here, we can put also some deadlines. Okay, the deadline of this task is 7th of October. I don't see the green Yes, deadline was not activated, but I still don't see. Okay, maybe we have some small issue here because it's a critical one. Still not. I don't see why it's not displayed. You have to check something in the template because it does not want to display the correct the deadline at the correct place because of some options in the bar styles that we have to set up, but we don't want to make it during our session out, but maybe comme là. Okay, hopefully. You see that we have something here which is a deadline, which is displayed, so we don't see it very finely, but okay, in the template we will maybe we have some thing that does not show the deadline. You saw that I had to add some conditions to display the deadline, and because something in the template must be changed, so we will solve it. So if you don't display it, it's not a big problem. It will be done in the production. Okay. So what happens now if I take more time for this? We will see that both we have an alert which is displayed about the constraint, but also because of the baseline, which is not, we go over the deadline. So that's why we have an alert. Okay, do you follow me? Oh, it's difficult after lunch.
One question: where do you put the constraint in that line? It was in the task information. Do you change it to as soon as possible?
There are two things in when you click on the task information in the advanced tab here. So it's not immediately visible because when you open, you are in general. But if you go to the advanced, you see here a first part which is deadline. And you can define a date. And there is another area where you have constraint type.
Yeah.
So for the first one, so for this one, I used the deadline, and for the milestone, I defined the constraint. No, that's the correct one. I said, please, can you do what I want? Okay. Okay, and in that case, we have used the constraint type.
Oh, okay.
So really two different fields. There are no specific rule to say when do you want to use deadlines, when do you want to use constraints. I'm used to work with constraints on business critical milestones. And deadline are more like a kind of visibility point that I want to have in my planning. For example, I want to be so it's less critical alert. So I put some deadlines more in the task in the task themselves, as a task that I want really to check, to monitor because of high risk. I put some deadline on them, so I notify before that the constraint cannot be achieved on time.
Yeah,
So, but after it's really a question of practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I typically use it as sort of like an early warning for myself, you know, on whether we're approaching those deadlines, and so we don't get too far down the line. So it's an early warning system that I use it for. It's my personal use.
Right. Okay, so let's imagine that we made all the things that we had to schedule. All the dates are defined. We can maybe put a baseline on them and say, okay, set baseline. So at that point, the different duration, the different dates for the KPIs and the development pillars are defined, and they will be displayed for these 3 dates here. We will see them in the project center as soon as we save the project and we close. So we will save the project. You see that the publish button is not available because we created a new project based on the template, and for the moment we didn't name the project and it was not saved. So if you see that your button here is gray, it means that you didn't save your project and you have to make it. So if you save, say that, okay. I give a name. But again, normally the project on which you will work on, they will already be created because of the origination is from the PPM solution. So you should not create project like we did here. But it's good to know how it works behind the scene to understand where does the information come from. Okay, so now we saved, we have a correct name. Now we can publish. We set up the baseline. So you see that in the default view of the project, we are in the we display the baseline and the planned. Okay, we see that the bar here are blue and gray, so we have a double bar, one for the baseline and one for the current planning. If we don't want to display the baseline, we can just switch here on the baseline in the ribbon to say, okay, I want, or I don't want. Okay. Okay. What did we forget? Duration, baseline, duration, constraint. Okay. Question for that?
Sorry, it's I saved it, but I don't have the option to publish it yet.
Oh.
It's still grayed out for me.
Okay, strange. Do you have a message like me? You see where I have my mouse on the bottom right, save completed successfully. Do you have a message like this?
No.
Mm-hmm. Maybe could you share? Maybe you can share your screen if you want, so you can see what's going wrong.
Yeah, just a second. I'll try and save again, maybe. Okay. Okay, so if I save here, I just click save as.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is this the issue?
Yes, in fact, it's because here you saved your project as a local project. You saved it on the computer.
Right.
And in fact,
okay.
you don't have to save on the computer. We are more in a shared. We share all our project across all the portfolio, so we can return. You can return yes to the save as, and we will save it really in. And here you see under Project Web App, you have a big save button in the middle.
Mhm.
Yes, and if you click on it, then you can give a name, and it will save the project in the server and not on your computer.
Okay.
And then
Save
save,
as.
and not save as file, but save. The first time, yes, you ask a lot of things.
Okay. Great.
And now it's on the server now, so it's able to publish, because publishing is not something needed for a local MPP file.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Quick. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So now, if you have no more question, we can continue the life of our project and see what we have to do now. So it's to manage achievement. Because for the moment, we only concentrated on the forecast of the project. We defined baselines with some deadlines, constraint, duration, dependencies, etc., etc. But now, okay, the real life starts, and we have to tell to project what happens in the real world and not in the theoretical world where everything runs correctly. Things are always going a little bit different. Sometimes it's not just a little bit, but we hope that it's a little bit different from what we expected. And please, project, help us to keep the control of our planning. And so we will manage the achievement. So what to do for that? It's that we have to declare when a task starts. Because we have the plan, but now what is the actual? So project, please make this task start at this date. Then we can declare the remaining duration for the different tasks because we imagine that we need 20 days for a task, but maybe the actual duration will be maybe 30, 50, I don't know. So we can update the duration that we think for the task. After, we have to declare when the task is finished. And for some specific task, we don't want that people just declare that, okay, the pillar is achieved, we finished and the land is secured. But we know that in case of audit and things like this, people, the auditors want to know, but can you prove me that it's under control and it's not just a finished task, maybe by error because we clicked on a bad button. So we have to prove, in fact, that the land is secured, and we will see how to make it. So, different way to do that, depending of really task by task. For task which is running as expected, you plan
Sorry,
to
Sylvain,
start.
are you sharing your screen?
Absolutely not. So,
Good.
thank you.